Good morning, Twitter Network. I'm Braden Moore, and today I have the privilege of welcoming Jesus Romero.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Good morning. He's an expert criminologist, and he's here today to answer the community's questions on crime in Hawaii. So, Jesus, should Oahu residents be concerned with violent crime in Oahu?
Well, first of all, we have to define what crime is. Are we talking about murders, car crashes? Those can be pretty violent. Or are we talking about sexual assault, aggravated assault, or anything of the like? Or a combination of these and more? As we see, what constitutes violent crime can be pretty difficult to answer. Even the major reporting agencies seem to report crime in different ways. As the Honolulu police spokeswoman, Michelle Yu, explained, if multiple parked cars are broken into on the same street on the same night, the FBI may count the multiple break-ins as one incident. In contrast, HPD would create a separate report for each break-in. So the numbers can vary significantly.
Well, let's take a look at the questions the community has for you on violent crime. You're on, Braden. Thank you, Braden. Hi, I'm Braden, and I'm here with Kanye East for his questions about violent crime in the community.
Well, I'm Kanye East, and what I want to know is, where are these crimes happening the most? Well, looking at recent crime data, a majority of crime across all the islands in Hawaii show that Oahu has the highest crime rate per 100,000 people. If we look at the southern part of Hawaii with the most dense population, it shows that the highest levels of crime per 1,000 people. Furthermore, crime is more focused on the west side and spots like Waikiki, with a lot less crime happening on the east side. Crime is also pretty heavy around many military bases, Joint Base Pearl Harbor, Schofield Barracks, and Marine Corps Base Hawaii.
Well said, Jesus. Now for our next question. Thank you, Braden. I'm here for our next question with...
Well, I am Javaris and Lamar, and I feel like my neighborhood is pretty safe. Is that true for everywhere else? That's a good question. Going based off HPD statistics and their definition of violent crime, the most consistent high violent crime categories in the past year have been aggravated assault and sexual assault. The highest number of cases for aggravated assault in a single month was 106 cases, and the lowest was 67 cases in January and April, respectively. The numbers remain frequently high across months and are mostly consistent, with slight dips in spring before rising again. As for sexual assault, the highest number was 84 cases and the lowest was 60 cases, again in February and April and May, respectively, which means that the numbers are relatively steady with a noticeable drop in spring. Lastly, murder was the lowest in volume, but it still remains notable, peaking at 7 cases in August. So while fluctuations happen, no extreme unpredictable spike suggests a lack of crime wave or crisis.
Thank you, Jesus. Now for our last and final question. Thank you, Braden. Up next, I'm here with William DeFriend. William DeFriend, what's your question for Jesus?
Well, I feel like the streets were safer back when I was a kid. Is that really true? Excellent question. When comparing crime in the past to now as reported in the Uniform Crime Report's Hawaii crime statistics, murder rates were highest in the 1980s and the early 1990s, often exceeding 40 to 60 homicides per year. Robbery was much higher in the past, with over 1,000 cases annually during peak years. However, aggravated assault and sexual assault have increased over time, particularly from the 1990s onward. Now, aggravated assault remains the most frequent violent crime, with 67 to 106 cases per month. But robbery has become less common than in the past decades, with 36 to 72 cases per month. And murder is at its lowest levels compared to previous decades, with 0 to 7 cases per month. Overall, violent crime was the highest in past decades and has since declined or stabilized. And Oahu remains safer than it was in the past. But specific violent crimes still leave room for concerns.
Thank you, Jesus. So with that in mind, should we still be concerned about crime in Oahu?
Looking at the overall picture, crime has decreased over the long term. However, sexual assault and aggravated assault are still concerns. Even then, we must still remember that crime is not random. Location and situations matter. Places like high crime areas and nightlife zones see more assaults and robberies, and media coverage and isolated incidents can create fear. But in reality, Oahu is not a crime high area compared to major US cities.
Thank you, Jesus. That'll be all for today. Thank you for watching Toward the News Network.